Hello.
Today we have here Heidi Solba, President of World Cleanup Day. Would you like to introduce yourself a bit? What do you do at World Cleanup Day?
Yes, thank you for a great question. I'm president and the head of the global network as well, which means that I'm working 24/7 with all the countries around the world. And I have been in the organization like 9 years, and my first task and most important one was to create a global-wide network in each country. And our KPI was 150 countries for the first World Cleanup Day what we held in 2018. So it was my first task. And we managed it because we found 157 countries at this time. And then second thing was that we had to establish also from the civic movement an environmental organization called Let's Do It World in 2019, which was like 6 years back, I think, or 4 or 5 years back. And from this moment, I'm keeping all this network around the world, which is work for 24/7, and also working with the strategies and also represents the organization in worldwide level as president.
That sounds like a big task or very, very impressive, like 157 countries, even exceeding the 150 that you aimed for. How did you build the network? How do you keep in contact with all of the participants like daily? How did you found them?
Yeah. The organization is led in this way that in those countries, which we now have more than 157, of course, it has been growing like a good thing in the world. It means that we have a really great leader. And it's always a question about the leadership. And it means by leaders, you have to find the leaders who have the passion, who does understanding, who is inspiring other people so they are motivated to follow. And that is, I think, most crucial thing. And when you have this kind of inner motivation, which is catchy and bringing also other people to follow you, then the rest you can actually learn. Our organization, in my opinion, is a really great platform to create new environmentalists and leaders and also humans, because we are following really great and big agenda by making this world so much better. And how I'm working with these leaders is that the organization is now divided between the regions. So we have regional directors, in some parts also coordinators, because some of the regions are really huge. And also we have different kind of groups, which is like a WhatsApp group, Slack. We are using all their know-how and all their platforms and possibilities, how to work with those leaders. And in my opinion, I can divide it into two sections or two periods. One thing is to establish the organization, which is already fascinating, and you want to have sort of like a one competence. But another thing, how to keep it as well, and to keep it in 8 years in this way that basically leaders are not moving and are still motivated is extremely hard. And if you talk about a global organization, which is working in so many different kind of cultures, challenges, and even the war times, it is fascinating at the same time, and also giving a lot of understandings how to work with this kind of organizations. So we have to be agile, and to find the ways how to grow with their leaders and with their knowledge and with their expectations. So it means that we cannot sit in the same spot and to think that everything is happening by itself. We have to go forward to be maybe also a step ahead, which is extremely hard.
As you said, World Cleanup Day has progressed over time, and as leading this, you need to bring in like new things, like new technologies, new ideas, always be like step ahead. I feel like World Cleanup Day in that sense is like a flagship to other like global events. So whatever you do or show this kind of like improvements, then others could follow or take see what works, and I think it's very like impressive thing that World Cleanup Day does. Also that you mentioned, it's so many different cultures, how to connect all of these people, how to stay relevant in this like changing world, to all work towards the one goal. I think it's very, it seems very like a big, huge job, but also very rewarding, I guess.
Yes, it's at the same time you can see all the world, sort of like all the world, and also to understand how to what is its changes and also challenges in different kind of countries. So yes, I think for us. You mentioned the innovation and all this kind of new technologies, which is very important. But to work with this, quite a new organization, actually, it's not very old one if you're comparing to Keep America Beautiful or Greenpeace or Earth Day, which has been on the market already 50 years. So we have been on the market, if you talk about the work cleanup, to 6 years. And nevertheless, we have been achieved to become a part of United Nations calendar, which is a very big achievement to any kind of environmental organization. And I think this is a first key factor which it has to be playing a pivotal role around the world to engage a critical mass of the people in environmental action. And this is our key strategy, to engage 5% of the people. I might be saying that this is innovative idea because it's so stupid idea. Who can bring 5% of the Earth population into the action? But in our network, there are 15 countries who achieved it, and we can see what kind of systemic change it has been starting. And this is exactly what we want to do, to have systemic change, because the cleanup is not a solution. By bringing the people together, you can engage them, you can inspire them, you can motivate them, they can learn by this action by themselves, and they can set up expectations, what they're expecting from their governments, from policies, from how I can consume, or what I'm doing with my personal life, how it will change my life, and what I'm expecting from my, for example, from an employer. And I think this is the most important. Somehow with the World Cleanup Day, we are working with all the sectors. We are working with the governments, we are working with the United Nations, we're working with their business sector organization, we're working with the communities, we're working also with the youth. And by bringing all this together in cross-sectoral level to catalyzing this kind of way to find the solutions is, I think, the most important role of the World Cleanup Day. The cleanup, that everything will be much cleaner, is very important, but to challenge the people and sectors to collaborate to find the different kind of solutions in their countries is the most important thing. Countries are very, very different, so they have very different kind of challenges. Cameroon is not something to compare to Japan, for example, or to compare for Finland, for example. Everybody really, really different. And by working with within the United Nations calendar, we sort of like expecting that those organizations and the business sector organizations and also government come to support this kind of big environmental initiative. Because then we can talk about the engagement of the 5%. And we have to be visible. And for us, it's also really important to be sustainable. Our biggest challenges, you might be asking, of course, I think, is that nothing is changing. We keep just go to the cleanups. And next day we can see that all the beach would have been cleaned up on the World Cleanup Day. It would be, again, a lot of plastics, and we don't know where to put it and add it. So we have to have systemic change within the country. We have to engage on the World Cleanup Day, local governments, business sector organizations, in order to find a solution in those countries, that we can see that the World Cleanup Day will be a change maker and will be creating an impact.
Right, so the main vision for the future of Cleanup Day would be that it brings in, that the change is like kind of permanent, and it brings in all of these different like little parts to collaborate and work towards it, right?
Absolutely, and it's not a question about one NGO who can do it, called Let's Do It World. It's not a question about one day called World Cleanup Day. It's a question what we can learn from that. And the biggest learning point is that we learned to collaborate and we can work. If we have been working on World Cleanup Day with different kind of organizations, then definitely we can find all together a solution how to keep it all clean as well. And what could be this kind of circular economy models, what could be different kind of sustainable solutions, new startups, new ideas. And I think most important is to engage the community, because community and the people who are mainly consumers have fantastic ideas how to make the things happening in their daily based life. In my village, in my city, in my school, it's very important engagement, because in the moment when you start to bring the people and engage them and to bring them into find the solutions, in the same moment they will take an ownership and they start to find their new ways how to keep it, this change. And it is the most fantastic way how to change the society.
How do you reach this kind of audience, this global audience? How do you reach the people or the communities that haven't heard about it, or don't, so to say, don't care even?
Yeah, I like this part that who doesn't care. Because in my opinion, just following what are doing this kind of big organizations who are making the cleanups in order to change the societies and to find the solutions, right? Always they are coming, I think that they are coming the same people who always are going to the cleanups. They are not coming the people who are not going to the cleanups. And we have to change that part. What is the point if the same people are going to the cleanup each year? It doesn't change anything. That's why we have to engage new organizations, indeed, and organizations and young people and institutions who never have been in part of this kind of actions. And I know that also by witnessing that if this kind of institutions and organizations first time are coming to the cleanups, which you can see also on the World Cleanup Day now, more and more, I see their enthusiasm. And I think it's very fascinating because we have quite a lot of global organizations who are also in majority of different kind of countries. It could be insurance, it could be technology, it could be different kind of organizations from different sectors. And by bringing their employees into will be part of their cleanup or activity is for them like a first thing to do, but it's giving an opportunity to build up this kind of really great team building, also loyalty and also organizational branding. So for them, it's very inspirational. But I think to find the new ways to work with the World Cleanup Day or any kind of really big campaigns and actions, we need here not just an NGO sector. We need here definitely local municipalities and also governments, because through them we can address very important things, very important messages. And also people are following, are your political persons also taking part of this kind of activity? Are they role models for the society? Are they walking the talk? This is important. In the moment where we can see that they're walking the talk and also leading, with their personal, this kind of experience and sharing it, people will be following. For us, it's really important that we are not alone in this world, just making the actions happen. I think through the United Nations Day, we can also address the new organizations as well. And that's why it's very important that we are part of the United Nations calendar.
What kind of role digital technology plays in this kind of global event organizing, also in the context of like sustainability and such?
I think it's very important because we talk about a global organization, and a global organization who is doing and working with the waste management. also with a lot of organizations, but also is holding knowledge about what is the green practices in different kind of around the world. So we have to have technology which is sharing all this knowledge, which is enabling to bring their different kind of stakeholders together to find the solutions, to keep an eye on the data, to know how and what supposed to be different kind of changes regarding mismanaged waste, for example, to find what is a great this kind of best practices, for example, or how to bring this kind of impact models in different countries together and to learn from each other. So I think it's a very important tool for the governments, local municipalities, but also if we talk about the big challenges regarding of mismanaged waste, for example, overflows, disasters. I think even disaster management is very important regarding of the waste itself. Also health and also prevention of those kind of things. So data is the most important thing here. So to work with universities, work with the scientists, work with their municipalities and this kind of NGOs like we are, I think data and technologies are very important and pivotal. And we have to definitely to find the ways how to develop it much better and how to engage the Let's Do It world with this global initiative to give their better input. I think the governments want to achieve the situation that their citizens are living in healthy conditions. There is a good economy, everything is working. There's no war, it's a peaceful, and people are healthy. This is the governmental main goal. And business sector main goal is to sell the products which is serving their communities and the world itself, but it has been done in really responsible way. And our goal is to bring all these organizations together to find the ways how we can faster the situation with the waste management, to solve the situation with the waste management in the world. So I think when we bring all these sectors together, which is, I think, the most important what we are doing, then I think in collaborative way, we can faster with achieving our goals. And we cannot work in silos because the community is so big. And definitely, I'm looking forward how these sectors can work much better together by achieving the goals much faster, because their time is very, very limited if you talk about the situation where we are living today.
What else do you measure other than the number of countries or number of the events or volunteers? What would you say is like successful for in World Cleanup Day? What are the measurements that you look on?
Yeah, we're looking forward to create an impact model, which is firstly to saying that World Cleanup Day have been making the change in society. We talk about bringing together 5% of the people, which is by a scientist proof point, breaking point, when systemic change will be started or will be starting in the society. Therefore, we talk about it, and it's really important. We have been measured it. For example, in 2018, we made a survey right before the first World Cleanup Day in Indonesia, and also in France, and also in South Africa. And in those time, we measured also what is their typical knowledge of their waste management or of their society or people, and their knowledge about how to deal with waste and all these really general and really important questions. But on those time, we saw that I think in France, we had 180,000 people by this time involved into the World Cleanup Day, and it is really small number actually. If you talk about the whole number, how many people they or how big is the people number in France. And in South Africa, we had like 50,000 people by this time, but in Indonesia, we had 2.8% of involvement, which is very big. It is many millions people, and how they achieved it, actually because they have been working with all the society and also with really big organizations. And they are our biggest biggest involvement by this year as well. And we also measured the same impact after the World Cleanup Day, and we can witness that only country where we had some kind of change was Indonesia. So we can sort of like prove that World Cleanup Day, if we have this kind of magical number of people to be engaged, then the knowledge and awareness and have been raising. And for this awareness, we are also hoping that the behavior is changing.
Right. If I would have like an amazing new idea, also wanting to change the world or globally make like an impact, and organize this some kind of like event or a change, what would you recommend me if I don't know nothing about event organization, for example? What would be like, let's say maybe 3 main things that one should be aware of before?
I think you have to be really aware about your idea. I really like the question why. Just ask many, many whys. Why you have to have this event, what you want to achieve through this event, why it's important, to whom it's important, what's in it for others, what is changing, and to understand what is the impact and the why is very important. And secondly, if you have done it before, then definitely talk to experts. It's very important to find a really great expert and just to have an interview with experts and to learn from that. And then I think the next thing is a team, of course, and you have to engage a really great team around you, even 1 or 2 persons who are the same passionate as you are and who is also knowing the why. And I think this is the most important thing for starts. But you have to know your audience. You have to know your stakeholders. And then definitely it's a question about resources in the end of the time as well. So I don't know. This is my very first thoughts.
Maybe another extra question, a bit about World Cleanup Day and Exponaut collaborations. What do you think are the main benefits of that, or how has been the experience for you?
Yes, I think firstly we are working with Exponaut, and thank you so much for that, because with your technologies, with your platform, with your know-how, we definitely can benefit in global level. This is what we have done. So it has been really great cooperation. And definitely we already have new strategies and ideas in our mind as well, how to move forward and how to utilize all this what we have done so far, and how we can bring more audience into their World Cleanup Day, or similar big events what we plan to organize together.
Right, so the change comes over years, but there's constant progress, I guess, right?
Yes, definitely organizations are developing firstly, and society is developing and changing all the time, and we have to go with these changes, and have to be agile, as I already said, and to find what is currently and today is serving all this society and all the world, and the world is changing really fastly and rapidly. So we have to be, going with this.
Yeah. Going with where the world goes, right? Being up to date with everything. Is there anything else you would like to share for an aspiring event organizer, or whoever would be interested in what you do personally, or what World Cleanup Day does?
I think everything you can learn from their books and from great experts, but my personal point of view, working all my life with humans and with all sectors, then I think one of their biggest learning points for me from all these years is that serve your heart, not your mind so much, but your heart, because from the heart is coming the power and empowerment. being honest to yourself as well, which is very important. And when you're honest to yourself and your idea, and you are like a walking person with all these ideas, and then you inspire. When you inspire, there will be a followers. When you have the followers, you will have the success.
That's a great, very lovely idea. Thank you for sharing that. I'm very much rooting for you and everything World Cleanup Day does. I hope you reach your goals and wishing all the best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.